I'm going to predict every SEC tournament basketball game, along with me telling you what I think Kentucky will do as well and what I think they're going to be looking like moving forward.
The Big Blue Breakdown from kickoff to tip-off.
Welcome in, everybody, to the Big Blue Breakdown, where we cover Kentucky football and basketball. I'm Jackson Thurman, and I appreciate you guys listening to episode 133 here on the podcast. If you guys enjoy the show, help us out on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts by liking and subbing, and then go check us out on social media at Big Blue _Beatdown. You're missing a lot of extra content if you don't do that. We are on TikTok, Insta, and just TikTok, X, and Insta. Excuse me. Go check that out. Really, you're missing a lot of extra content if you don't do that. I love the interaction on the social media pages recently. So in today's episode, we're obviously going to be predicting the SEC tournament, my thoughts on it. I'm going to give you guys my breakdown on what I think will happen, and I'm going to pick my champion. And then I will tell you, just obviously with that, how far UK will end up going, and just my thoughts on them heading into the tournament, sitting at the 9 seed. And for the first time in Kentucky basketball history, we'll be playing Wednesday. And then lastly, give you guys a Cam Williams update along with a Braden Hawthorne update returning to the Cats in 2026. But before we jump into today's episode, I want to give a quick shout out to our sponsor, W Energy. If you're looking for clean energy with no sugar and no crash, W is the way to go. Helps you stay locked in for game days, late nights, and all these breakdowns. If you want to try it out, make sure to use my code BIGBLUE10 at checkout for 10% off. That is Big Blue 10. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look here at the SEC tournament and where everybody is set up right now. We're going to quickly go through that, and then after that, I will give you my predictions. I won't dive too deeply into all of them. I will give you guys a basis and a reason why I am picking each team, so on and so forth. But Kentucky will actually end up playing game 1, 12:30, SEC Network on Wednesday. They're the 9 seed. They'll be playing a 16 seed LSU. Game 2, number 13, Mississippi State, number 12, Auburn. Then later Wednesday night, number 15, Ole Miss, and number 10, Texas. Game 4, last game of Wednesday, number 14, South Carolina takes on number 11, Oklahoma. And then we get into the single buys. The single buys here are as follows. Number 8, Missouri. Number 5, Tennessee. Number 7, Georgia. Number 6, Texas A&M. And so Missouri will play the winner of Kentucky, LSU, Mississippi State, and Auburn. Tennessee will play the winner of Mississippi State and Auburn. And then Georgia will play the winner of Ole Miss, Texas. And then Texas A&M will play the winner of South Carolina and Oklahoma. And then we move on to the double bye. Who gets that? Number 1, Florida. 4th, Vanderbilt. 2, Alabama. And number 3, Arkansas. These games right here are on Friday. And so the Gators will take on the winner of whoever ends up will take on Kentucky, LSU, or Missouri. Vanderbilt will take on Mississippi State, Auburn, or Tennessee. Alabama will take on the winner, I don't want to say the winner, but they'll either take on Ole Miss, Texas, or Georgia. And then lastly, Arkansas will take on the winners of South Carolina, Oklahoma, and Texas A&M. And then after that, it goes into the semifinal games, which are on Saturday. And then the championship game is on Selection Sunday. This Sunday is Selection Sunday, a action-packed week for the pod as well, guys. We're going to try to come to you with previews every day that if Kentucky obviously ends up going along, and give you my actual bracket prediction when the NCAA bracket comes out. March bracket comes out. Man, I'm excited for that. And Kentucky has a real shot at really boosting their resume if they can definitely make it to Friday and make some noise there. Kentucky hasn't won like 2 SEC tournament games in a long time. They won one last year against Oklahoma on a miracle. not only Sam Miracle, a last second shot by Otega Owe gets blown out by Alabama. I would like to see Kentucky at least win 2 and make it to Friday this year. That'd be very, very nice. But this is the lowest spot Kentucky has ever been in the SEC tournament. This is the first time ever in program history that Kentucky will be playing on Wednesday. That is not Kentucky expectations at all. That is not Kentucky expectations at all. I'm not going to dive into that stuff right now. I believe that is a after the season type of talk, but that is not the expectations at Kentucky. I'm going to leave it there. Okay. Let's go ahead and tell you my predictions for the SEC tournament. We're going to go game by game here. Going to start off with Kentucky LSU. We will have a full breakdown on this game tomorrow night. Make sure to check into that. Kentucky will play early, 12:30 Wednesday. LSU right now, per KenPom, is, let's see if I can get it up here. Per KenPom, they are ranked 62nd. 62nd in KenPom. This is the last seed in the tournament at 16. They're 15-15 overall, 49th offense and 117th defense, 222nd adjusted tempo. Kentucky won on a last-second chance shot by Malachi Moreno, which kind of turned around their SEC play for a while there. I think the Cats get it done in the first game of the SEC tournament against LSU. I think they get it done. I think they will move on to play Missouri. Second game of the day, Mississippi State and Auburn. I'm simply going with Auburn here. I think that they are more talented than Mississippi State. I think they're really, really hungry. They're on that bubble. I think they're going to be coming in here with a lot to prove, and that will actually set up a really interesting game between Auburn and Tennessee in the second round. Ole Miss, Texas. I'm riding with Texas here. I actually really, really like Texas. Dalen Swain is legit. I really, really like him. I think this team is just solid overall. This is a tournament team. I think Texas gets their win in the third game on Wednesday to play Georgia. 14th ranked South Carolina, 11th ranked Oklahoma. I'm going with Oklahoma here. They've been hot recently after a just horrendous start to SEC play and really their year. Oklahoma has played very, very well as of recently. And this is a team that, man, if they perform and they make it to a semifinal championship game, this is a team that you could see entered into those tournament conversations. So they're playing for a lot here. I'm going with Oklahoma there. Back up to the top here. Back up to the top. Kentucky will face Missouri if they win here. Kentucky versus Missouri. This is a tough one. Missouri came into Rupp in the second game of the SEC play this year and beat the Cats in a game that Kentucky really should have won. And this is a team that I think Kentucky actually matches up really, really well against. I think a hungry Kentucky team against Missouri here that has played well recently. I think that they can get a win, and I think they will get a win over number 8 Missouri. I have Kentucky moving on to Friday and getting 2 wins in the SEC tournament, at least. And then you got Auburn playing Tennessee. I'm simply going with Tennessee here. I think Auburn just hasn't been that good. Now, this is going to be kind of a fun storyline with Stephen Pearl returning here. This is the team that he played for. Now he's playing with, just a lot on the line here against his former team. I think Tennessee's too good, and they're going to do too much on the glass. I think they fend off Auburn to face Vanderbilt, their rivals, next. Also, Kentucky will play Florida if they beat Missouri. Just insane. Texas playing Georgia. And I know Kentucky, Missouri was technically an upset with the 9 beating the 8, but this is one of my bigger upsets, at least so far. I'm having Texas beat Georgia. I love Texas. I just love their team. I know they lost to Oklahoma in the last game of the year. I'm rolling with Texas. This is kind of my sneaky good team here. I'm taking Texas over Georgia, and so they will advance to play Alabama on Friday. Oklahoma, Texas A&M. I am tempted to say Oklahoma here. I am tempted to say Oklahoma here. I actually want to see, did Oklahoma, well, obviously they played, yes. I just want to see their last, I want to see what they did against Texas A&M. They lost by 4 at home. Lost by 4 at home. Let's see where. I'm actually really interested to see where these two teams are on KenPom. So we got Oklahoma at 46, which isn't bad. 17-14 overall. 21st offensive adjusted rating. 116 defense, which is not good. Obviously, 231st adjusted tempo. Then Texas A&M is going to be up there at 34th. 21-10 overall. 44th offense, 37th defense, 27th adjusted tempo. I'm tempted to take Oklahoma, but I'm not going to. I'm going to ride with Buckyball here to get the win over the Sooners and really in their hopes of making the tournament or being in that conversation. Give me Texas A&M to beat Oklahoma to advance to play Arkansas in their next game. Kentucky, Florida. I'm just going to let you know I'm going to take Florida. Even though I think Kentucky actually matches up well with Florida, unlike a lot of other teams, and has given them fits that they have not seen in the past 12 games. This is the one team that has given this team fits for a little bit now in the last 2 games. The second thing I will say is it is really, really hard to beat a team 3 times. Only time we've seen that in the last couple of years has been Alabama beating Kentucky last year for the 3rd time. I am sadly, I think, I'm going to have to take Florida. I mean, I just can't pick against Florida right now, especially with them playing Kentucky, who they've beaten twice, even though the jinx on it's really, really hard to beat a team 3 times in a row. I don't care. Give me Florida to beat Kentucky and go to the semifinal game. Kentucky wins their 2 games in a row, and that will be the end for them until March Madness. Okay, Tennessee, Vandy. I am going with Tennessee. I think March time, I think the offensive rebounding, the physicality, the revenge of losing in their rival game at home to end the season against Vandy, then they come out and they beat Vanderbilt. Give me Tennessee, give me Jacoby Gillespie. I think Nate Ament will be back around this time. Texas, Alabama, playing in the quarterfinals game here. I'm going to go with Alabama. I'm going with Alabama. They have been so hot as of recently. So hot. I'm going with Alabama to beat Texas in a close game. I just think the up and down, the 3-point shooting of Alabama and Nate Oates is going to get it done. The tempo there is going to be too much for the Longhorns to handle. Texas A&M and Arkansas. I'm taking Arkansas. I'm taking SEC Player of the Year, Darius Acuff, to get it done over the Aggies. Simple. I think this team is just too talented. Trevor Brazile has been playing well recently. I'm taking the Hogs to beat Texas A&M. And so that will set up Tennessee, Florida, and Alabama and Arkansas in the semifinal game. Florida, Tennessee. I'm simply going Florida. It's just what Tennessee does well, Florida does even better. What Tennessee's identity is what Florida's identity is, but they just do it better than them. And they've had more consistent guard play in the last couple of games, and I just think they are so good. They're the more talented team. Give me Florida to go into the championship. And then Alabama and Arkansas. Alabama, Arkansas. There is no, except for the Florida Gators, there is no hard team in the SEC right now other than Alabama. The last time these two played, it was cinema. Absolute cinema. It was scored in the hundreds. Darius Acuff had 49. Alabama ends up getting the win at home. This one is so tough. I'm going to actually check some KenPom numbers here, maybe to pull me in one direction, because this is going to be really, really hard for me to pick here. Arkansas sitting at 18th, 23-8 overall, 6th offense, 44th defense. And then we go with Alabama at 15th, 23-8 overall again. So we got the 15th and the 18th team here. It is in Nashville. I'm going to take... Man, this is the toughest game to pick so far. This is the absolute toughest game to pick so far, guys. I'm going Alabama. I'm going Alabama because they're so hot. I think they just do so much to you in transition. I'm going with Alabama. But, man, I would not be surprised if Arkansas won that game and went to the championship. In the championship, I'm taking Florida. Alabama does not match up at all, against the Gators. Give me Florida to win the championship, the SEC tournament championship. For the second time in a row, they will be the regular season and the I might be wrong on that. They'll be the second year in a row with Todd Golden winning the SEC tournament. I don't know if they had a split between the SEC regular season last year or Auburn won that one. But anyways, they have won 2 in a row. I think this will be their second. That is what my SEC tournament predictions look like. Okay. Before we move on to my thoughts on the Cats in this one and get a little bit deeper into them, I want to tell you guys about our friends over at Bluegrass Elite. If you're your go-to brand for Kentucky apparel, if you want high-quality gear that really represents Big Blue Nation, whether it's for game day, campus, or everyday wear, Bluegrass Elite has you covered. Make sure you check them out and use my code BBB15 for 15% off at checkout. That is BBB15 for 15% off at checkout. Okay. How far would Kentucky make it? I've already made that decision, and that is they would lose to Florida. That would be that they lose to Florida. Now, I think if you can make it to Florida, I truly believe you actually match up better to Florida than any other team does in the SEC. I think it would be neck to neck with you in Tennessee. I really think it would be. It is so interesting to me if they play the third time. I don't know what it is, but it is so hard to beat a team third time. You've seen it last year with Kentucky losing to Tennessee in their third game. We've seen it plenty of times before. They're just as saying it's hard to beat a team 3 times. I think people would be so pumped up as Kentucky fans if they get past Missouri. Okay, all right, now you're telling me there is a legit chance here. If we can pull one off against Florida, there is a legit shot. It is just such a tough matchup, even if you stack up well against them. They're so well prepared. They're coached so well. They have a winning formula against you. You're 0-2 against them, but again, you're 0-2 against them. You can at least take one, right? You play a third time. You got, as Pope likes to say, you got more data on them. This is what really, really interests me, is if you can squeak by Missouri, because I think you will be LSU. LSU is not good. I'm going to be completely transparent. LSU is not good. Kentucky came back down from 18 on the road with a Malachi Moreno miracle at the end there. Yes, I think Kentucky will handle business against LSU. I don't see any issues happening playing LSU here. They're terrible. They're the worst team in the SEC. I mean, the record shows it. Then you play Missouri. They're a middle-of-the-pack SEC team that you should be early in the year. You would have motivation to beat this team, and I think that you definitely could. And then if you'd have 2 games under your belt, you would be riding some momentum, playing Florida, a team that you've lost to 2 times now. You're probably going to have the majority of the crowd. You probably will. I can't predict it because how good Florida is. I cannot predict it at all. But man, you're telling me that we'll play a team our third time in a row, or third time this year, to go to the semifinal game of the SEC tournament, and fans are going to be pumped up there. Our players are going to be pumped up. I hope, Hopefully they're just not pumped up just for the second half. It gets interesting if you can it gets really interesting if you can make it past Missouri. That is what I think. I just cannot talk myself into anybody beating the Florida Gators right now. Anybody. Okay, last thing here to wrap up the show, and this is good news here. Cam Williams practiced today, and Pope said this is not, I don't think this is direct, but he is very close. He is very close to playing, and it would be very, very nice to have him because then you have a better rotation. Let's be completely honest. You would rather have him be 80% playing over Trent Noah. He brings you elite athleticism. He brings you elite size. He brings you three-point shooting. He brings you elite defense. Do I think he's going to change the face of this team? Do I think that he's going to lead us to a SEC championship? No. But will he make us better? 1,000%. 1,000%. That is good news right there. That Cam Williams sounds like he will be back for the SEC tournament. That'd be big news right there. Or that'd be big if we were to get him back. That just makes the rotation better. It gives us a better defender, a good rebounder, gets a lot of length, and a offensive weapon. Last thing here is Brett Hawthorne has come back. We'll have a freshman next year on the team somehow, even if it is a redshirt. I appreciate you guys tuning in here to episode 133. Man, it'd be interesting if the Cats can play Florida for the third time this year, Friday. I appreciate you guys listening and tuning in to this one. I'll catch you guys tomorrow for the Kentucky LSU preview and break that one down. I think the Cats will actually end up getting it done. I mean, who knows? Maybe I will take Kentucky playing Florida if I just think that we're hot going into that one. But we have to get past a really, really good Missouri team first. We got to get past LSU. Appreciate you guys tuning into this one. And as always, go Cats.